Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we're covering job management and best practices. We will cover in this webinar what a job is in WEX FSM. We'll do a full job page overview. We'll look at jobs with multiple appointments. We'll look at the flag for follow-up feature for follow-ups and callbacks. We'll look at appointment statuses and some visuals and end with some job reporting, looking at the job summary report so we can manage jobs in bulk. At the end, we'll do a live Q&A so you can get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's dive into WEX FSM. So the very first thing that we're going to look at is just the question of what is a job in your system. And jobs are created when you create an appointment. And you can also create jobs from the job page. So just a quick example here, we are on the schedule page. If I were to, let's say, click new, create an appointment, schedule it, and it goes on to the schedule page. If you hover over the appointment, you will see a job has been created. So as you're creating new appointments, you will be creating jobs at the same time. You can also create jobs from the customer page. To search for a customer, we'll type their name in the search bar in the top right. So we're looking for Mary Smith. There she is. And then we will go forward to Mary's customer page. From the customer page, there is a quick action that says create a new job form. By clicking this, that is the quickest, fastest way to make a job. This is asking, do you want to create a job with a proposal in it? Do you want to create a job with an invoice? Or you can create a job only without a proposal or invoice, and you can add those items later. Once you create a job, your system will automatically populate a job number, and you will see those jobs in the timeline on the right of every customer page. Now, the timeline is going to show you these gray rectangles, and each of these are a job. So I can see the job number in red. I highly recommend that you name your jobs. You'll see a field for job name, and that is what will show up here. So when you're looking back at history, if you don't have any job names, you're not going to really know what is in these jobs. Now you can click the little triangle drop down here, and you can see everything that's inside of each job really quickly without having to actually click into each one. But having that job name here lets you know, okay, this was a maintenance visit. I can assume I know what happened there. This was our heat cleaning. This is where we did the install. And you have full customization of what these names are. So get as detailed as you need for historical record. Now we are going to go into a job. Let's search for our job 11918. You can type in job numbers here if you have it on a sticky note on your desk, let's say. And then once you find the job that you want, click on the red job number, and that will bring you to the job details page. Every job that you do will have a job page just like this. When I say job folder, this would be like we're looking inside of the job folder, because this is where you will have all of your job customer information. You have a job tracker at the top. So as you complete your appointments, your proposals, order parts with purchase orders, pay the invoice, take that payment, it will track that progress. The job summary section, this is important. This is going to tell you if the job is open, closed, or abandoned. You have your job type, and job types are great for reporting. As you create jobs, you will say, what overall type of job is this? Even if there are like multiple phases within a job, the job type is what the overall job is. And so, is it a commercial job? Is it a estimate? Are you going out for a maintenance plan? Whatever it is, select that. And when you go to your reporting, you'll be able to filter by job type. So a common thing would be, how much money did we make from our service side of the business last month? Now let's compare that to the repair side of the business. Whatever you want to look at, the job type allows you to tag your jobs that makes that filtering much easier. Job price, that is going to be essentially the standard price is the main pricing that you're going to have as a default for all items in your price book. But then you can create pricing defaults and you can add some modifiers. And so friends and family would be like a discount. I have a military discount here. And after hours would be an upcharge for working after hours. So as I update these, if I were to, let's say, select friends and family, when I create a proposal or invoice, it will apply the friends and family discount. Now, if this is your first time hearing about these, just a quick note to update your job types and update your pricing strategies. Those are done on admin pages. So you may be on a job and you're like, oh man, I really wish I had a different option here. To update your job types, you will go to Settings, Jobs, Job Types. And this is where you can update and customize your own personal job types. Any that you save on this page will be available on your jobs when you make them in this dropdown. To edit your pricing strategies, you will go to More Applications, Price Book, Pricing Defaults. And then from here, you click on the Edit button and you can either create discounts, percentage discounts, or percentage upcharges. And that's how you control those. Also included in the jobs are calls and notes. So whether you're adding notes from the office or from the field, all notes will show here. Are you using checklists? Now you can set checklists to auto attach to jobs if you are a checklist user. However, if you want to add a checklist to a job, you can just come here and click New. And if you already have a checklist, you can see items complete, the status, and you can view the checklist with the PDF viewer here. This is what your customer would see if you sent it to them. And, if you're, let's say, technician filled all this out and added notes and everything, you would see that reflected here. Tracking equipment is very easy to do. You can add equipment to the customer page. You can add equipment in the field. Anywhere that you are adding new equipment, it's going to save to the customer's account per address and save here. So you'll always know what equipment is on hand at a glance anytime you're on a job. Adding attachments, sending out review requests, user allocation, and profit and loss. Now, I do want to spend a second on this. Each job is going to show you how much money you've made on that job. So you can see profit and loss right here. And you may be asking, can everyone see this? No, there are permissions that will hide these. For any field user, you can go in and turn off the profit and loss section. So that's up to you. There is a permission to hide this from users if needed. But There are two main things that you need to make sure are set in order for your profit and loss to be correct. We want this profit number to be a correct number so we can know what our profit is. To set that up, you have your product costs and your labor costs. The product cost is going to come from your price book items. So if I go to more applications, price book, my price book, as you are building your price book items, let's just look at a general part here. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay. You have a cost. And so entering in the cost is saying how much are you paying for this item? Enter that here. Once you add this item to a invoice and that invoice gets paid, then the job will recognize the cost you paid for all the items from your price book, and that will factor in to the product cost here. If you do not enter in costs into the price book products, then you're not going to have this number, this profit number will not be correct because that's not going to factor in the money that you're spending on the job. Next is the labor cost. In order for this to be correct, this is saying how much it costs you to pay labor for the person doing the job. And to set that up, you will go to Settings, User Management, Users. Each user, if I go to Dustin Bailey, each user has right here, labor cost per hour. Enter in how much you pay this person for 1 hour of work. And when they're on the job, they'll be able to say, on my way, that will start the job time clock. When they get done, they'll be able to complete, that will stop the job time clock. And then your system will factor in how many hours they worked, and that will factor into the job profit and loss right here as labor cost. Those will be subtracted from the revenue, giving you the actual profit. So make sure you're setting up your product costs in the price book and your labor cost on the user page. You know, if there's a user that's not running jobs and just working in the office, you probably don't need to add that labor rate in there. You can if you want to like spot check on their customer page or their user page, but I would absolutely add it for anyone who's actually running the jobs. Next, we have 4 sections in each job. We have appointments and service requests, proposals and financing, purchase orders, and invoices and payments. Appointments and service requests will show any appointments that have been created. So if, for a little context here, the main place where you will probably be doing most of your scheduling is from the schedule page. The schedule page is what shows you the appointments on the board, and the appointments that you put here will show up in the job. And so these are the appointments that we would have seen on the schedule page, and now they are saved here. And this particular job had 2 appointments. So that's something to know. I've definitely got this question before, you know, your technician is out on the job, they get done, there's something else that needs to be done. They want to mark the appointment complete, but they fear that's going to mark the job complete, and we still have stuff to do for this job. The job completion status here and the the appointment completion status and the job status are separate. So you can go out and complete multiple appointments. And then when you're finished, you've taken payment, the job is actually done, then that would be marked as complete. If you want to create a new appointment, you can do that from here. So you don't have to go to the schedule page. You can just click new, and the same exact scheduling modal will show up that you see on the schedule page. So you can do technically all of your scheduling just per job on the job pages. Next, we have a belled note at the top. The belled note comes in really handy for information you know you need to remember. Uh, Gate codes are great for that if they have any pets or, special service needs, or if you put in filter sizes or like actual pieces of equipment that your tech may need to remember. To get a belled note to attach itself to a job, that is actually done from the customer page. So if we go to the very top, let's go back to Mary Smith's customer page. A little tip here, anytime you see this little arrow in this box, click on that and it will open whatever link it's next to in a new tab. That way we don't lose our spot on the previous page. And just know, WEX FSM is made to have multiple tabs open. So you can have your schedule tab open, a couple job pages open. Maybe you want your dispatch map up so you can just quickly see where everybody's at. That's up to you. And we have opened now Mary Smith's customer page. And to add a belled note, we want to set almost like a sticky note on the job that we can always see. To do this, you will leave a note about the customer. So click on that, assign it to an address, and put your note, gate code. And now click the bell, and that will show up in the job. So anytime you create a new job, it will add the belled note. So you can always see it no matter what job you're doing for that location. If you don't bell it, then it will save itself in the timeline. But then, if you want to look at it, you will need to scroll down the timeline to find it. Or you can always just search here with the drop down and go to calls and notes. Going back to the job page, we have proposals and financing. So this is where you can create new proposals or copy from existing. Just to give you an example of the copy feature, if I click copy, that's going to first show me any favorites in my system. Let's say that I am about to do a mini split install and I just did one yesterday and I'm charging the same thing. It's basically the same service. Instead of having to build everything from scratch, I can just use that copy feature and here's my mini split install I did yesterday for Justin. So I will just click on that. That will then copy over the job form with all of the information, but replace the new customer information. And now it becomes unique for this customer. So I can make any edits that I need to, and then either save and close. I can present it to the customer. I can send this to the customer. And if they say yes, they're ready to go right now, I can just convert it directly to an invoice. Let's save and close on this one. You can favorite your documents right here on the job by clicking the heart. If you're favoriting, I do recommend also naming. And then that way, when you're searching to copy, you'll see that it's favorited, but then you can just read, oh, mini split install. To name a document, you will click into that document. And then right here, it'll say either proposal name or invoice name, and then you name it whatever you want. Once you name that and hit save, then when you are copying, it's much easier to see what that is and know that that's the right job form you want to copy. We'll go ahead and discard changes on that one. So we did proposals. Proposal comparisons allow you to compare individual proposals. So you may have seen like a good, better, best style comparison before. This allows you to do just that. You can create well, first you create each individual proposal, and then, you get those as detailed as you want. Then the proposal comparison tool allows you to pull multiple proposals together and puts it in this nice format where your customer can see all of their options and make an informed decision. Purchase orders, you can create purchase orders and order supplies directly with your system. Now, this does require you to have your suppliers set up and your supplier catalogs set up. But as long as you have that, you can just order parts directly from here. These are, real POs that you would send to your supplier, and they will fulfill your order for you. And then invoices and payments. So if you're either converting to invoice, if you convert to invoice, it will then put the invoice down here. If you copy a previous invoice or you create a new invoice, that will create your invoices here. You can quickly view your invoice by clicking the PDF icon. And you can also send or quickly collect payment right from here. You can also process payment and record payment directly from the payments section without having to click into the invoice. Just a pro tip for you. Let's say that you have an invoice that is closed. You can no longer edit the invoice. So if you need to add notes to it, even make some kind of edit, I can't edit it. It must be in an open draft state, and you just click the drop down here, open draft. Now it's editable again. You may have run into that where it's like, oh man, why can't I edit this? You'll just need to change that to open draft. All right, so let me check my notes here. Very good. All right, so we have covered everything on the job page. And now some scenarios. If you get done with a job, you are at the end, let's say I'm the technician, I'm towards the end of a job, and oh, I realize I can't finish the job today. I'm going to have to come back. Maybe that is something like needing a specific part. I check the truck, it's not there. We're going to need a follow-up to this. You can easily create a follow-up appointment, whether you're doing that from the mobile app or from the desktop. If you're on the job, you can just come in and hit new to create a new appointment, which will act as our follow-up. If you create it from the job, it already knows what job to connect it to. So it's pre-populated here in the job section, the correct job. And let's say that this is actually, so this, probably a more realistic scenario is I'm going to need to come back, but we don't know when that's going to be because I have to order the part. And so a couple things I would recommend. Number one is you can create a service request, which will act as a drafted appointment that's not ready to go yet. But this is kind of setting this up. So maybe this is a callback. You could even do like callback part order. And then we want to make it a service request. Maybe we are going to tag this that this was maybe a filter change. And then put in any notes that you want here. And now we can save. So we've created the service request. This is kind of waiting and ready for when the part comes in. And then we can actually just on the schedule page, drag it over when we're ready to schedule. But we know we're going to go back out. How am I going to remember that this job requires a follow-up? And that is where we will use flag for follow-up. Each job has a flag for follow-up button. When you click on that, you will put in the follow-up type. Now you can add your own follow-up type. So whatever type of callbacks that you do personally, add those here. This example would be a part order. You can assign these flags as well. I'll show you where that comes in handy in just a minute. But let's say that we know that this is ordering a part, and we know that Alex is the one who does all of our part orders. And then I would just put in the notes, need this filter, 12-inch by 14, and then whatever you would need. Whoever is going to fulfill this flag, put those notes in there for that. We will hit save. That will now flag the job. And it's flagged individually. So if I come to this job, I'll see there's a flag here. If I create an appointment on the schedule page, it will also show a little flag indicator. And then from here, you can click on the flag to edit it. And, let's say the part comes in. You now can add this to the schedule. They go out, they do the work, install the part, and then either from the mobile app or from the office, you can mark this flag as complete and hit save. That will then remove the flag from the job. Now, that's individually. Just a pro tip for managing your job flags and follow-ups in bulk. I would do that from the job list. So you're going to go to jobs, job list. And the job list, it's exactly what it says. It's a big list of all your jobs in your system. But the reason why we're here is show flagged jobs only. We will toggle that. Now you can see all your flags. So kind of an ecosystem of using this. Let your techs know, hey, if there's some type of follow-up, flag the job. Same thing in the office. Oh man, I know I need to follow up, flag the job. All job flags will then be seen here. These are all your follow-ups you'll need to do or touch on, and then you can manage all the flags in bulk right from here. So you don't even need to go into each job. You can just see all the flags. And assignee, let's say that I know I'm being assigned flags throughout the week. I get to work, I sit down in the office, and let's look at all of, my flags. You would see all the flags that were assigned to you. Uh, and did we? Oh, we finished the flag that we made earlier. That's why we're not seeing it. Cool. That is flag for follow-up. Then we have two more sections we're going to go through, and then we'll be in our Q&A. I think we're doing great on time. So next is appointment status and visuals. And this is actually really nifty if you have not seen or noticed this before. When you create your appointments, they will create jobs. Your technician, let's say, will be out in the field doing the work, and they will be able to update what point of the job they're at And you'll see that visually here on the schedule page. So I have some examples. If it's just a box with no extra graphics happening, that is just a standard appointment that has been scheduled. Your field technician sees it on their calendar. Your technician is now in the truck, ready to drive out, and they will hit on my way, which will change the job status to en route, and you will see moving dotted lines. And that means if you see these moving dotted lines, that means this technician is on the way to the job. If they get to the job and they say, hey, now I'm at the job, it will stop those moving dotted lines and it'll just be a dotted outline. This means they are at the job doing the work. And then if it's gray, that means that the appointment is complete. You will also see an outline of the color of the job type. And also, if you don't know, red, purple, green, all of these colors came from what type of job it is. So the job type is what dictates these colors. What's really nice about this is you can just see what your team is doing at a glance. So right now I know Caleb's on the way, Bruce is there doing the work, Mark finished, and Dustin hasn't started yet. And maybe you'll use it like, if I'm seeing Dustin has not started this job, we were supposed to be there at 10, maybe I want to reach out to Dustin and see what's going on. Now, last thing we'll look at is some job reporting. Your jobs, there's probably a lot of them going on all at one time. And we need a place where we can see just overall job status at a glance. To do this, we're going to go to reporting. And under jobs, we're going to go to job summary right here. The job summary report is best for monitoring overall job status and progress. You can view your open flags. So from here, you can view flagged jobs. You can hover over the flag if there are any notes, and it will tell you. But you can't edit the flags from here. So this is really just an indicator that the job is flagged. But I would recommend the job list to manage those flags. But from here, you can search by date range. It'll pull up your jobs. These will just be jobs that are in your system. You can search by job type. And you can search up here by customer name, location, and job number. So great place to search for jobs. But this is my favorite part about this. You can see number of appointments, signed proposals, and invoices. So the question may be, have we completed the appointment for the job? If something is showing that it was scheduled, but it wasn't complete, and it was a couple days ago, what happened there? If a proposal has been signed, we got to get into action, start doing the work. But there's no invoice that's been created, and this is a week-old job. What's going on here? So just some checks and balances. This allows you to see overall job progress at a glance. All right. So that is all the information we have for today's presentation. I hope you were able to learn something. We're going to jump into our Q&A now, but thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Job Management and Best Practices.